Okay, for the start, we'll take 3 questions, then the response.
Thank you, Chairperson and the whole team. My names are Eric Nzobonera. I'm from MURBS. My attention goes to page 9. Though Professor Ntos was suggesting that we handle statement by statement, I find it very hard because the information is overlapping. And my attention goes to page 9 of this annual report, and specifically on the issue of impairment. I got shocked actually immediately I received this statement. I tried to look at it, and in my mind, I had the balances of last financial year, though I don't have the statement here, and I have not read it before I came here, but immediately I received this, I got shocked, and I met one of your staff who is my friend, and I asked, and I told her I don't agree with this statement of 1 million, and immediately she told me that there are issues of impairment, and this impairment thing I need this meeting to understand this. In the previous statements, we had unlimited funds. I think from 2005 to date. Now when you look at this statement, which statement we shall actually present? If I went to claim for my money, I would actually go with this one statement, which we are agreeing to receive. When you look at this statement on unlimited funds, it is only reading unlimited funds from November 2013. The other unlimited funds are not there. I think I am going to talk about more about impairment, but I want to move that we really reject these statements. They should include all our balances, whether unlimited or not limited, because there is no harm of putting unlimited fund. Even if it doesn't attract interest, it is my money. And this is my statement. The information we are getting is that the funds were impaired. And I was reading immediately I came. I understand some accounts. So immediately I came, that's where I went very fast and looked for reasons of impairment. And they are there on page 9. It's as if we are saying that we shall not receive this money. And therefore it should be remitted. It should be removed. Immediately when I went to even accounts, on page 14, on page 14 and 15, when you go to page 15 and you look at the receivable, the receivables have reduced from 35 billion in 2013 to 4 billion. And when we go to on page 14, I think the statement of income, we have provision for impairment 33.4 billion. So this means we are removing this money, though it is indicated in the liabilities, but we are removing it from receivables. So the implication is that it's as if we are not going to receive this money. So back to page 9 and I conclude. The reasons for impairment: 1, the university has continually defaulted on the payments. We forget the money because the university has continually defaulted on what? On payments. So we forget the money. So that's what it means. That this statement, you see it the way it is, and it is the one which has caused this impairment scene, which is removing that related funds from our statements.
Excuse me, member Eric. Yes. I think you should ask the question, and then we are going to respond.
Okay, I am concluding.
We have all the technical people to answer the questions. So do not educate, ask the question, and then they respond professionally.
Mr. Secretary, that's why Professor Tozo was asking whether people understand these accounts.
Yes, so we are going to
Okay, finally.
You might think it is misleading information.
No, I'm not misleading. Okay, finally.
Answer the question.
Finally, me, I don't really agree, and I think members should not agree with these reasons of impairment. We should take back this into receivable. This money should be included in our statements, such that when I get this statement, I can be able to see that there is unremitted funds from November, and there is also unremitted funds from this day, and all this is my money, and at an appropriate time I can be able to claim this money. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eric. I think that is the question on everyone's mind. And because of the importance of the question, we are going to take the question first, and then we shall allow further questions. Members, this is a very important question about impairment. We started the process of auditing the accounts sometime in September, and we went through quite a number of stages. Around mid-October, this AGM was supposed to have taken place somewhere in October. Around, I think, early October, they presented to us the draft audited accounts, and I reported in one of the general assemblies of the association. When Alfred presented the draft statements, he had qualified our accounts. By qualification, Eric who understands audit, you know what that means. And the auditor gave 3 grounds for qualification of the accounts. One of the grounds was that the payroll from Makerere was not rhyming with what we receive. So the payroll that we get every month is a wrong payroll. Because if you use that payroll and you compute the benefits, then what you get is different from what we do, what we receive. We engaged the university on this, and I think Alfred can testify. It took us about 1 month to eventually get the correct Makerere University payroll. Members, the one that you have received for November is wrong. That's the wrong payroll. We need the correct payroll. That was one of the grounds. The other ground was that due to the migration on the payroll, I think that took place in public service around November, about 465 of you lost the code for retirement benefits. And there are some of you in this room who have not contributed to retirement benefits for over a year now. And I think you have recognized that you are receiving more money than you are supposed to receive. Some of you have reported to the university, and you have reported to us, and we have engaged the university, but the university has up to now not rectified that problem. That was the second ground. The third ground, which is the most important, was that the trustees had failed to comply with international accounting standards. When we present these accounts, we don't present them only for members. We present them for the full benefit of even the regulator and all the other interested parties. So when they read our accounts in Makerere, they should be able to understand them. And in order to understand them, you need to have international accounting standards. Unless you are going to become rebellious, as you say, for us as Makerere, we are not going to conform. Now, if you read the International Accounting Standard 39, in that standard there are grounds for impairment. They tell you that every time you present accounts, you need to ask yourself the following questions. If these questions are true in some way, then you have got to impair that so that you don't give a false picture to people about your financial well-being. You know, we are talking about the financial well-being of the scheme. And we are telling people that we are doing very well, we have 99 billion. When in actual sense, we don't have what? A third of the money. We are in total violation of accounting what? Standards. When the auditor explained this point to us, we, first and foremost, decided as trustees that we should conform. And because of the three reasons for qualification, the third one was affecting the trustees, because it was, we had failed to do what is right. So we said we should do what is right. But secondly, we held a meeting with the association executives, and we told them that members, there is something hot that is coming, and that is the decision to impair. And we said, is it possible that we engage the university management and the university council so that they can nip this very bad thing in the bud, so that we do not have struggle with Makerere. The associations wrote jointly to the chairman council, informing him about this impending trouble. And unfortunately, the chairman council did not respond, because at that time we were asking for a meeting to try and explain this to the chair council and to council members and to management. We engaged the university management about this, they didn't respond. This AGM should have been held at the beginning of November, but we could not hold it at the beginning of November because we wouldn't have done exams. The students would not have done exams. So we decided, together with the association members, that I think we should hold this one at the end of the examination period. And one of the people on the mailing list asked that, why should you hold a general assembly in the middle of the examination period? And I said we would explain. This was one of the reasons. Fortunately, we have been trying to engage, but fortunately, yesterday was Wednesday. On Tuesday at about 8 p.m., I received a call from the secretary of the university secretary. Maybe before that, we have been reporting ourselves to our bosses, the regulator, that look here, this is what is happening in Makerere. All is not well. And the regulator has been out of the country, but last week I received a call from Rita. And Rita said they have heard. And they said that they have got to be a part of this meeting today, to hear and properly understand the problems that are affecting our scheme. That's why they are here, and I think we should thank them that they are here. Because if there is anybody who can force the university, it is them. Yesterday, on Tuesday in the night, I received a call from the secretary, the university secretary. And they told me that they were inviting us, 3 trustees, to Serena. The other Serena in what? The other Serena in Chigo. And they said they have a council retreat and they wanted to hear from the trustees. Yesterday we went and we met the council, university council. We met them together with Mr. Bazanye. Mr. Bazanye, please stand up for recognition. Mr. Bazanye is the gentleman in charge of pension. Okay. Now, when we went there, we presented these issues, and I know they are sitting at Munyonyo, but they are waiting. to hear what is happening from here. And these were some of the outcomes of that meeting. One, if you look at page 9 of your report, page 9 of your report, and they say that they directed management, and they say that management, together with the trustees, should enter a consent agreement on the following issues. One, contributions not remitted to NIC between July 1996 and June 2005. That one. Because the university acknowledges it and they know that they have to pay it. Two, contributions not made between July 2005 and June 2010. That one. That we reach an agreement. The third one is not yet here. On the fourth one, there were salary enhancements that were made in 2005, in July and in August. But unfortunately, the university did not remit benefits for those salary enhancements. And they say they acknowledge and we should reach an agreement of those ones. They gave us 2 months up to the end of October, February. But I think 2 months is even a long time to try and sign this agreement. But they also said that the university is hard pressed when it comes to finances. Is there a way we can look at ways in which this state can be paid? Sometime last year, we engaged or we visited some colleagues in Nairobi under the help of Genesis, and we visited some schemes there. One of them is called Kenya Ports Authority. And Kenya Ports Authority had a very similar problem to the one we are having. They had a book value which was not funded, and 90% of what they had on the book was not funded. And they were about to be closed by the regulator in Nairobi. But the regulator, together with the owners, the managers of KPA and the trustees, they looked at the properties, the different properties that were owned by KPA, and then they came up with very good ideas on how they could hand some of these properties to the scheme, and then how those properties would then be converted into liquidity so that the money is eventually gotten. And some time back, a team from Genesis came and visited properties of Makerere University, and it did a survey. And when they came back to the trustees, they said they had found a Jewish one, which would be good for the scheme. And this one is in why you know why it's just above that total. That is Makerere University land. In fact, there have been squatters, but they were cleared off the land. After their assessment, expert assessment, they thought that that would be a very prime property. And so we informed the council that this is one possible agreement that they could reach. And the council yesterday gave management a go-ahead within these 2 months to try and see whether there are creative ways of trying to meet this deficit. 2 things I want to say. That one, this is still an ongoing process, but in case we reach a consent agreement, next year in our accounts, we are going to recognize again, for example, the 10.7, it will be, what would you tell me? Transfers in. He will recognize it, and it will get back to the settlement. Secondly, we are going to the NIC DAB, that will also be recognized. I don't want to talk about in-house as yet, But I want to dismiss the myth by Eric, which is saying that you should have this money even if it is not remitted on the statement, so that you have it there. That is a lie, a false lie you tell to yourself. Because I have a witness here. I've seen Dr. Kateo. I think you can be a witness here. You have that book value and you retired. But have you been paid? And is there any hope of being paid? So it would be fallacy to continue maintaining that you keep our unlimited amounts of the statement, when in actual sense the university will not pay. I think we need to find creative ways of helping the university and making sure that the university pays our money that is due to us. I even found, I've computed, for example, if you have around 10 million that is unremitted in terms of 2005 to 2010, that is not 10 million, because we are supposed to accrue interest at a rate of 10% per annum, according to the consent judgment. So if you include interest, you find that you're not talking about 10, you're talking about 24 million or something. So we need really to take this very seriously, and we need to see how we can engage the university to make sure that this money is paid to us. And we got confirmation. Unfortunately, Professor Baya has been in court, but he's coming. He told us before we even made this decision that whatever opinion the auditors have, or whatever opinion the trustees have, it has no effect whatsoever on the outcome of the court process. So we are still in court, and all these things are happening. I think I've given a very elaborate explanation.
I have to state what the secretary has given, although I wouldn't be able to cover all the details. But I think this point was raised as the issue that I have to be very important. However, I get worried when somebody proposes that we dismiss this report. My idea would be, my proposal would be that, can we develop a kind of appendix to this report so that all the explanation is summarized, and then we have something on record which we can refer to in case what said the question, even if when we want to take legal action. Just because from I wouldn't, you have been explaining not written down anything. Because some of the things I don't understand it, but at least there was a brief which we would follow as explained. Otherwise, your explanation I think is legitimate, but the issue is legitimate. But if you a suggestion that we dismiss the report, that would be a crisis. I'm not saying that he has done, he has suggested wrongly, but we shouldn't go after that. So, but at least this question should be given an answer by that board. Otherwise, I thank Eric and I thank the secretary for
Thank you, Professor Chibongo.
I'm not an accountant, but I'm a statistician. I agree with Eric rather than with John. I think if you know you have money with the university, and you know that the university has assets, and you've already said that the university's assets have been assessed, I don't see why you should not include what they owe you in the statement. I don't understand it as a statistician, but so I really tend to agree with Eric, because according to Eric, what you put here is the value without what the university owes. Now, according to him, he really wants to know in the future, if he retire, what he will really be getting. And from the logical point of view, I think maybe the compromise of Professor Chigongu could work, where you put some kind of annex or appendix and explain where some of this money is and how you intend to recover it. And I think that's why we are in court. Unless we are assuming that we are going to lose the case in court, in which case we should not even be there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Members, in the report on that same page 9, there is that assurance where the lawyer assured the board that this impairment does not imply in any way that this money is getting lost because the case is not yet closed. The case is going on and the impairment is taking its direction, but the case is still there because the money is unknown. And the value of appreciation of that money is what we are working on. And we already told you that yesterday when we made council, we made some progress. Why you cannot include it? Because as we talk now, we don't have the signed document where the university says, yes, that's why we are not able to include it. But if we get to that, possibly next time, we shall move in a different direction. But the money is not yet lost because the case is still in court.
Thank you, Chair. I only beg to add to the Chair's explanation. It would be very good to show it on your statements. But if you remember the explanation given in the Chairman's report, we needed to comply with an accounting standard, and therefore we passed a provision for impairment. Not that we did not de-recognize the asset. The asset is still on our books, but we had to pass a provision for impairment because at that time there were objective reasons, as shown in the Chairman's report, that our statements cannot be fully relied on by the public because what we say we are holding, we don't actually have tangible evidence that we are holding it. However, as the same report explained and the additional comments by the Secretary, you can see that the position as of 30th June 2014 is different now because we are seeing the balance tipping towards the favor of the members in our fruitful discussions going forward with the university. So I propose, this is a proposal, sir, Mr. Eric. Don't shake your head yet. Because that is net asset without the provision. That is, the statements for the retirement benefits are written in this way, different from any other statements, because we report according to a particular standard. That's different from the IFRS 1 for other companies. Now, to go on to my suggestion, I suggest that the detailed reasons and detailed description of the status as of now be put in writing and be given to members so that you can refer to that. Because the members alluded that what the Secretary has explained, they've understood, but it's not anywhere in writing. If we put that in writing and avail it to the members, I hope that will suffice for your record.
Members, we have visitors or guests that came to us from UPRA, and before we want to leave us, that we would wish to have them say something to you before they can leave. So allow us, we shall continue with our discussions, and let's have them giving us their word.
My name is Moses Makerere. I'm the interim CEO for the Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority. I've had the discussion here, but we have to remember that we are undertaking reforms. And these reforms started in 2008. We have an act, which is the UGANDA Act of 2011. And within that provision, within that act, there are provisions which make it mandatory for employers to make contributions, especially in the formal sector, towards the retirement benefits, towards the retirement of their employees. Okay. And when you look at, I think, provision, before you go to provision in the UGANDA Act, we have the NSSF Act. What does it say? The NSSF Act says any employer employing 5 people and above must contribute to a retirement benefit, to the NSSF retirement benefit scheme, where the employer contributes 10% and the employee contributes 5%. The way I understand it is that Makerere University doesn't contribute to the NSSF, right? Sorry? Like the university was Makerere. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to contribute towards your employees, right? So, I think you're exempted in the sense that they allowed you to manage your own internal scheme, not so. But otherwise, all the objects, all the elements, and the what do you call it, the spirit in which this was done was that you have the capacity as Makerere University to manage your own scheme internally. And therefore that means that the contribution by Makerere University towards the scheme we are discussing today is not optional, it's not a preference, it's not by desire, it's by law. Okay? The Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Act, I think this is section 69, talks about all employers contributing towards retirement benefits. So there are 3 issues we are dealing with here. There is an accounting issue, there is a legal issue, and I think there is, practice what existed before, what's existing today, and what you want going forward. So, the law says all retirement benefits. And if contributions are supposed to be made in the 15th day of the following month, if that contribution is not made, it doesn't mean that the obligation has disappeared. In fact, it becomes a debt. Okay? It's a debt on the part of the employer in favor of the employees. And that debt must have a first call on resources. And we are strengthening that in the bill that we are putting through Parliament right now. The representation there is strengthening this and will make this debt a first call on resources. The reason why we are doing this is really to address the impunity where the employee works diligently and so on. At the end of the day, they don't get their accrued benefits. And this is also provided for in the Constitution. The Constitution provides for pensions. So, a university like Makerere University must set the example, the good example as an academic institution, to show the rest that this is the way to go. Okay? If I may add a social element to it. All right? This is not legal, but it's a social element. So, I'm not an accountant, but the accounts must recognize that this is a debt. I'm glad the Secretary, in the last words of his contribution, he said they have opened up dialogue. between the administrators and the scheme to see how this can be amicably resolved. And this is the way to go. And I think you and Makerere can avoid legal fees because the law is very clear. Okay? The Constitution is very clear. The NSSF Act is very clear. The UGANDA Act is very clear. And you know in which favor this is going to go. All right? So you can avoid that and just work out a remedial action plan and say, okay, if we are not able to provide all this today, how much can you pay this year, next year, and the other? But these are accrued rights by law, not by preference. Okay? I hope that's clear. So that's why when we received this letter, I had to go on leave and I had to travel. I requested my colleagues, my teammates, to establish whether these were mandatory contributions. And in this case, these are mandatory contributions. You cannot say that this is a voluntary scheme. By the fact that you are exempted from contributing to the NSS, it doesn't mean that it's not a mandatory scheme. It's a mandatory scheme. And therefore, all the players have to act in accordance with the existing legal framework. So, what I was going to suggest, so when I look at the reasons for impair, as I said, I must apologize, I'm not an accountant, they don't hold any water. Okay? Because as I said, the legal framework is very clear. So you either recognize this as a debt, okay? As a debt in favor of the employees, okay? A debt that will be honored, unless if you are declared bankrupt, that's a different case. But Makerere is an ongoing concern, right? So that must be, whether it's 10 years or 20 years, the obligation is not going to work out. This is a debt in favor of those people who are members to this scheme. And you are going to write to clarify these issues. Right? So I think there is need to recognize the fact that things have changed. Before there was no law, today you have a law. You can go to courts, and the courts will handle these guys here. The handsome judgment. Okay? No, they will. Because the law is very clear. And I'm very positive about that. So, but this can be avoided. Let's avoid this kind of thing. Let's do the right thing. Let's implement the law. I think that's what I wanted to say. But I have my legal person here. I don't know whether she has any other things she wants to add. Those are the few things that we want to say. But the law that the proposed law that we have in Parliament is going to strengthen this. In fact, we are saying that any amounts that are not contributed will be in debt and will have a first call on resources of any employer. Okay? In order to safeguard the social interests and well-being of this gentleman. This gentleman was here when I was studying here. This professor here. Okay? And we should understand why. This is to build a minimum social safety net for people who have been working, and they are working, and they retire, they have no other fallback positions. It's a minimum social safety net, and it must be respected. So, as a regulator, I'm sorry I came back last night. I didn't have any presentation to make or whatever. I'm a bit tired, but we're going to write and respond to the letter that you wrote to us, and put these issues and put the relevant laws as well, so that it has adequate legal backing. I don't know how the accounts people are going to address this, but this is the policy. If I may put on the other hat of government as Ministry of Finance, this is the policy proposition. Okay, so the auditing must recognize the policy propositions and the legal framework that is in place. Thank you so much.
Which members have been having that has got to do with access.
Early access due to medical reasons. According to the present law, we are required to get clearance from the Uganda Medical Board. And we have received the 3 very bad cases in the previous year. One of them is the current one of a member of staff who was diagnosed with cancer and had to go to India for early treatment. She took her papers to the Uganda Medical Board, and the Uganda Medical Board takes forever to consider cases, and at times we are really affected by this. And I think as you revise the law, I don't know how you can help us so that we can serve our members better.
Yes, this is an issue that we are trying to address also in this bill that is before Parliament. The issue of the medical board, we know it's a very bureaucratic process. So we are trying to simplify it. I will move an amendment in Parliament actually this morning, about a month ago, in a committee of Parliament to make sure that there's a faster way where schemes can actually determine that this is necessary. But the broader issue on this element we are talking about is we are introducing a provision as a mandatory provision, mandatory option, not option, mandatory requirement in the bill that is before Parliament, so that among the mandatory benefits you have health care insurance. Okay, so we are saying 4 mandatory benefits when you make a contribution to retirement benefit scheme. 1, age benefit, survivor benefit. Who knows survivor benefit? You know survivor benefit? Survivor benefit, in case I die, I leave children, I leave my wife and so on, they should be able to enjoy my benefits, okay? Or the other one is invalidity. Invalidity, who knows that? Yeah? Yeah, if you're sick, you can't work anymore, or you are unable, you are incapacitated, you can't work anymore. That's also another benefit. And then the 4th one is going to be a minimum health care package. So that should be able to take care of this. If you make mandatory contributions, you can get medical treatment, including kind of things using this, but also we are going to allow for additional contributions towards your medical insurance so that you can start on this. We are moving away from the proposal that Minister of Health was proposing, which the Minister of Finance of course objected to, want to make it efficient, private sector based. In other words, involving the retirement benefit scheme, you have the insurance companies, and then you have the service providers, who are the medical service providers, in the clinics, the hospitals and the labs, so that you have a tripartite arrangement in order to deliver these services. This is working in many countries and it can work here. That's what we are proposing.
Thank you very much, Staff Bekami and the team. Members, we have had the benefit of sharing with the CEO, and I hope it has added some clarity to what we didn't know, all of us. And we request that in the future, you will again come again to educate us more. Thank you very much.
Let's continue with our questions, please. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I think on that question, the members have explained better, but I wish to add on my voice that in the accounting concept, referred to as the accrual concept, it requires that you recognize an income even if you have not got it. But the real fact is that the university recognizes that there is something they owe us as members of the retirement scheme. It means it is an income So what the management of the scheme have done, I think you are recognizing the cash other than an income. Don't look at the cash, but look at an income. So Eric's argument is that we are talking of an income. An income can be that you don't have it in your pocket, but so long as you expect it, then it is recognized as your asset and it has to be indicated. Secondly, recently we had the salary enhancement of 20%. But now what I hear is that the university used to contribute 40% of all our salary. So the 10% increase means that we shall be getting, or we are starting to get 60%, and the 4% the university will not be able to contribute. That means the marginal contribution we have been making will also reduce as a result of the university not paying the 4%. So I wanted to know, are we getting the 20% salary enhancement that will also go a long way to contribute, consonantly, or we are getting the 6%? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm Vivian Senka. I work here in the Department of Geomatics and Land Management in this department. Mine is a concern. When we are going to get loans from the bank, usually they give you that money on the hope that the university has some money for you. Now, in case I want to retire, early retirement at 50, and my statement shows 6 million, yet the bank owes me 12 million. How is that going to be worked out by the university before the money we are talking about, which has not come back to our scheme, has not surfaced? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and all the audience in. My name is Akwanet Patrick. I'm from Internal Audit. I would like to say that I'm very glad that I've attended this meeting today. My concern is actually on the issue of the impairment. Our legal colleagues have well articulated on the legal position. But I don't want the members to be derailed by the legal position, because the accounting profession says that the substance overrides the legal form. It is the principle which is there. And the standard being referred to handle this for accounting purposes says that you have to review annually the likelihood of this being realized within time. Therefore, should we go with the legal position, our accounts will not conform with the international financial reporting standards, and they will be qualified by all cases. Even if I was the one to look at those accounts, if it's not impaired, given the circumstances prevailing, do not confuse the legal form over the substance of the matter. And I pray that this audience here has a diagnosis of the two positions in the accounting profession and in the legal position of those matters. I can provide a guidance by providing the legal position and also the accounting standards, and we interpret jointly if given the opportunity, so that we have an understanding as to why I am in agreement with what the trustees and the auditors suggested in that respect. Thank you, I submit.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. My name is Tango Dori. I always get interested in this date which is keeping on and on as people are dying out. We have the brains in this university, but we also have the infantry. I always lead the infantry to get a result. I don't want to assume that we can get this money as peacefully because we did not get it peacefully in the first place. Yes. Do you remember? Yes. I'm still alive. This is the moment when we can get the date straight. And this is why I'm saying, when you vote, vote me. Now, the 2000 2016 elections are just not even a stone's throw away. Remember how we tried the other one and got 26.7 billion. What you do for us, we are very simple thing. Calculate what they owe us, explain to us what they owe us, call us in the gender assembly in the main hall, all of us come, we make a decision, and some of us are ready to lead. What we need now is action, and the time is very ripe for that action. Semester 2 begins in February. And nobody wants this harmony in 2015. Let us give a statement to our managers here that this is what we want you to face the president. The president is likely to face you members next month, January. He has said January, about 15th, you'll get your official correspondence. Me, I've got my unofficial one. Let us put one thing this time. Even if we have so many things, we don't tackle with salary, we don't tackle, let's tackle with the debt the university owes us. People are dying in retirement and in poverty. Yes. Secondary, primary school teachers in retirement are doing far better than us. Yes. Because I have two brothers who are getting a lot of money compared to the professors of Makerere. Let us get that package of the gold debt, which we are now calling losses. In this technical language. It cannot be a loss. That's my money, my friend. I'm about to go back to Kisoko. I want that money. Let us organize ourselves. You do meet the technocrats to do their part. We also use the infantry to help you get this money solved. Thank you very much.
I'm called Wayne Moses. I work as an accountant, finance department. When I look at the statements on page 14, on the same issue that Eric raised on provision for impairment, it has the notes which is directing us to note 13. But when you look at note 13, it is again talking about the receivables. And I got flabbergasted when Eric raised that issue. And Madam Speaker, who is the second on my right, said that we are not following the IS1. So I don't know which standard they were following when preparing these financial statements. And yet, the auditor articulated that these statements do comply with the international financial reporting standards. 2, it's a point of correction. When the secretary to the board was presenting or was answering one of the queries raised by Eric, he quoted the standard which talks about impairment as being IS 39, but in the real sense it is IS 36, not 39, sir. Thank you very much.
Some of these things are very important, that some of it is misinformation. So it is best if we answer them straight away before. So it's like we just go.
Why do we
for some of this information, let the technical people respond straight away.
Okay, thank you. To hit back at the very last question for clarification. Now, in this case, the standard that was being used was IS 39, financial instruments, because we take the receivables to be a financial instrument. When you're looking at impairment of property, plant and equipment and the likes, fixed assets, we consider IS 36 for impairment. So that's the standard that gives you the guidance on how to go about the impairment losses. Thank you. Of course, the financial statements being presented are in accordance with IS1, the presentations. Pardon?
Science 26 for the reporting for private benefits.
Now, when you look at the financial statements, we're saying that it's in compliance with IFRS, meaning that there's a combination of standards that you need to follow, depending on which account balance you're looking at. In this case, we have different account balances, receivables being one of them, the cash and bank balances, and all the notes that you're seeing there. There are specific standards that that will give you the definition, recognition, and measurement criteria for each and every one of them. So that information is readily available. Thank you.
Before we can ask, there is an interesting point that was raised by Eric. It was responded to by Moses, and I think I found Dr. Tanga answered that question. I think in this year's AGM, that should be really the most important issue. Now, there are two things here, and these two things should not be mixed together. There is what we call account reporting of the accounts that they prepare. Those ones, we do follow what standards have been set. But then there is also the legal. And it is good that our counsel is here, Professor Baria, and I think we'll take on some of this. But we also follow the traditional methods of getting money. And these traditional methods of getting money are the ones that I'm really interested in. Since we impaired this asset, we have seen some movement, or you're getting closer to getting that debt back. I want to assure you, forget courts, forget standards, which ones, the best standard you can use for getting back this money is the people, the power of the people. I think, from young unionists, you shouldn't try to understand these things of standards or whatever. Forget them. What you have to do from here, we should task our associations to organize a general assembly very shortly. And when we organize a general assembly, that general assembly, we should make ourselves clear. You tell the university you don't understand standards, you don't understand the word impairment, you don't understand anything, but we are not going to open the university for the coming semester if this issue has not been resolved between the board of trustees and the university management. According to what I had in council, if you do that, we shall have this agreement signed before the end of January, and all these things will be recognized, and we shall even start getting this money, so that gentlemen like Mr. Katejo can get their what? Money, because they are retired. But this business of saying, let us leave the money on the state bed, well, that doesn't work. Let us use a method which we know is tried, it is tested, it works, and we are going to see.
There was some other questions on 10% enhancement. That one is a salary question, and I don't know, US is not here. I don't know whether Mr. Bazani is representing the US to answer that question, whether people are getting their 10% enhancement on the salary before 6. For us, what we wait to see, as soon as it is instituted, we shall demand for that portion of retirement to have it remitted. At any point it is put in place, we shall demand that the retirement money is also paid to the scheme. Then the bank, the scheme does not handle bank issues. If you handle your bank things, it should be the university to handle the bank. Otherwise, for us, we have no argument with the bank. The argument is between us and you.
Good afternoon, members. Frank Mwini is my name, General Secretary Mwasa. I would like to thank about what you have done. In our executive, we have had numerous meetings with you, especially John Chiteimbwa, Dr. Hajat Nakatude, Sawazuka, and Bruce. Members, I would like to remind you, let us not have short-term memory. What was one of the resolutions we made as joint associations? That come next year, we shall decisively do what? Who can remember the phrase? We shall call a general assembly and decisively decide the way forward. Dr. Tambo, we were representatives. When you left the associations, we kept on the fire. In negotiations, people power. We have negotiated with council. We have negotiated with management. On several occasions, even on personal note, we have gone to the university secretary. What makes you not sign? Why can't you sign? But if you also leave, we are told that you will be paid earlier. Like how was will be paid earlier? Sorry, Mr. Bazanye, maybe I'm wrong. But the whole point is, Frank Mwine, who is in the College of Veterinary Medicine, who joined this university late by the mere fact of my age. When I reach your age, my money is not there. But for you, you pay yourselves. We agreed with Dr. John Chiteimbwa here not to pay the people who have retired to use the active service members' money. We said, please do not pay. And that is correct. The university should look for that money and pay the people. So, people power, members, maybe I should send that resolution to all of us. Dr. Tambo, I'm not standing again. I've served for 6 years. I've done my best. Some people can say that I've thrown it away. I've not. Somebody should pick this stick and should move forward. We have done our best. We have negotiated. We brought the incentive. I hope we are happy. Even it was paid of November. We are negotiating that we wanted that one of December. They said, beautiful, be realistic. Even it was before 15th, 16th, when they are processing, how do you want this month? Dr. Tumpsiri, the way I saw you. Now you are a council representative. Take the voice again. And among you, I can see people who can serve on these executives. Madam Vice Chairperson, you have acted by writing on the emails very nicely, and even the executive. Thank you. Let us continue with this kind of discussion, although management sometimes refuse to listen to us. I remember when Professor Tikodri was still the chair, he called us with the US and said, propose where this money can come from. We sat down, added. We said, you know what? Katanga land is there. Please, lease or sell. Makerere, lease or sell. Kororo, when that plot was being taken, we said, lease or sell. What happened? These gentlemen got their files and walked away. Said, what are you proposing? But you said you wanted ideas. We are proposing. Why are you running away? So we have done our bid, members. So we have reached a certain limit whereby we cannot exceed that tensile strength. Someone should pick up this, come next year. You know that our executive is ending on 15th of February. I hope you are aware. Not so? I have put that advert. You have seen even how we voted these members of council. It was actually good. I manned that election. It was good. There are some quarrels here and there, as you'd expect. But it was good and transparent. Please, let us involve each and every member. I wish even we had one association rather than Mwasa, Masa, and Way. What is all this? One voice, we shall move forward. Please, Tumsireta with Sarah. I hope Sarah is here or shall be here. You must continue this. I hope Tanga joins you.
Yes, I will.
So the other candidates that I'm not seeing, I had Tanga talk by that time. Yes, my brother. We call you the moon. My children call you the moon. Yes. Because of what you show us there in physics. Now, members, without wasting a lot of time, we have discussed this over and over. What is impairment? I don't understand it as a base. I don't, and I don't want to know it. What I want to know is, where is my money? Thank you very much.